welcome back to Hey Eintracht Frankfurt, the Bundesliga podcast covering everything there is to know in the English language about Eintracht Frankfurt, the greatest club in Germany, the greatest club in Europe, the greatest club in the world for that matter, but we are a little bit biased. Today, I'm just recording alone. I'm John here in Northern Virginia, just outside of DC. Friday, 3:30. We're already at halftime during the Friday Bundesliga match, so perfect time to talk about some Eintracht Frankfurt. Last match day for the men before the next international break. But we are not going to start out talking about the men. We are going to talk about the women. So on the last episode, I mentioned that the women were on international break, and when I was looking over the fixtures, kind of forgot that the Frauen Bundesliga was returning this past weekend and not midweek, so we forgot to preview this weekend's matchup for the Frauen against Hamburger Sportverein. So the Frauen took on Hamburg on Sunday, I believe it was. Came away with a 4-0 victory over the Bundesliga newcomers. So a pretty solid result there for the Frauen. First goal, Amanda Illestedt got her fourth headed corner goal of the year, almost becoming an inevitability here. Pretty incredible. She might have some defensive liabilities here and there, but as long as she keeps putting in some of those corner goals, can't go wrong. I believe she's still our leading goal scorer on the year as well, so that's pretty impressive, but also maybe not the greatest stat in the world. Later in the first half, Nicole Anyomi had a shout for a penalty, ended up getting a foul called on her instead, but then early in the second half did end up drawing a penalty. Elisa Sens slots that home 2-0. And then about 15 minutes later, Nicole Anyomi puts an incredible ball through for Laura Freigang, who slots it home, giving her first goal of the Frauen Bundesliga season. She needed that. Let's be real. She has been getting some looks at goal all season long and missing them in, unfortunately, rather incredible ways. A few blazed over the bar that just, you wonder how she missed some of these chances. But she scores, gets her first goal, 3-0. We're cruising victory. And then late on, Lizana Greva finally scores from one of her long shots, although it was quite the howler from the keeper for Haasvau. So 4-0 victory ultimately for the Frauen in that one. And then because of the expanded league to 14 teams instead of 12, there are going to have to be some midweek match days here now. And so we had one of those this week. On Wednesday, had to play FC Köln, who we had beaten for, I think it was the past 11 games in a row. Hadn't conceded a goal against them in 6 matches. That kind of ended, didn't it? Did not end up losing this match. We ended up drawing this one 1-1. But for about the first 10 minutes of the game, we looked fine, in control, and then for whatever reason, just completely sat back, let Köln dominate the match. They get their goal at the 25th minute mark, I believe it was, around then. Jessen, who is their leading goal scorer, gets that one. And really, we didn't show a lot of fight after that. It wasn't until close to the end of the match, after a few changes were made, that we started to push back a little bit. Nicole Anyomi ends up getting the tying goal in the 92nd minute, so in stoppage time. There were still 3 minutes of stoppage time after that to try and find a winner, but it just wasn't happening for us. And so the Frauen come away from the midweek match with a 1-1 draw against Köln, and it leaves us 4th in the table right now. So the Frauen Bundesliga, after Bayern's win today, because they've already played the first match of this match day, they're at 28 points in first place. Hard to see where they really fall off from that position in the table. Obviously, a couple of their midfielders have ACL injuries and will be out, but they have so much depth. They're going to continue winning this league. Wolfsburg sits in second on 22 points. Then Leverkusen in third on 19 points. And then we're in fourth on 16th, but we're only fourth because of goal differential. We have a goal difference of 9. But Hoffenheim and Werder Bremen are both on 16 points as well. Hoffenheim with a goal difference of 7, Werder Bremen with a goal difference of 2. It's really not an ideal position for the Frauen right now. It's been a somewhat difficult season, obviously losing out in Women's Champions League qualifiers for the third time in 4 years. Of course, we had the mass exodus of players over the summer. It's been tough, and I think that a lot of that blame, of course, is on the club itself for not really showing the ambition to invest the money into the women's side, as I think you would hope for a side with Champions League ambitions who were top of the table halfway through last season. But I also think that a lot of it falls on the manager. I know there's been a lot of people, especially outside Frankfurt circles, who have been questioning why Nico Arnautis is still in charge of this club. And quite frankly, I'm kind of in agreement with them. I think last year, having been first in the league at the halfway mark and then falling off and only finishing in third, that was reason enough, along with failing to qualify for the Champions League through the qualifiers in 3 of the past 4 years, and even the 1 year that we did end up making the group stage, not being able to get out of the group. So Nico's done a good job overall in terms of making sure we've steadily finished in third place here, and he even had the one Pokal final appearance. Unfortunately, lost that one after extra time. So, he's done some good, but I think he's taken the club kind of as far as he can. He doesn't really show a lot of will to adapt. He doesn't like to play a lot of players. I know that that's a reason some young players have left us over the past few summers. And I think that a new name, a new voice is needed. I think the Köln match really showed that as well. Just mostly a lifeless performance. There were maybe 20 minutes of that game where we looked like we really had any fight. And so, yeah, I think something probably needs to be done there. Whether it will happen or not, who knows? But that's kind of my take on the Frauen right now. I'll talk about them at the end of this episode. They have a couple of matches coming up here, but going to switch focus over to the men. So on Saturday, the men took on FC Heidenheim. This one was an early start, and I did not wake up for the first half, to be completely honest. So I still haven't seen the first half of this match. From what I know, it was a relatively lifeless performance, as was much of the second half. Buda Zivzivadze, God, I can't pronounce his name, gets a goal for them before halftime. Christensen ties it up for us in the 55th minute. And then just after that, relatively just a game, right? Like it was boring. There wasn't a lot going on either way. We had a lot of possession in that match, but we ended up only having 3 shots on target. And against the side of Heidenheim's caliber, that's kind of not really acceptable. They're pretty much destined for relegation right now. And while we know that, Frank Schmidt coach side is always going to be tough to play against, it's still a team where you would hope that we had the quality on the pitch in order to slot home at least 2 goals, or at least get 5-6 shots on target, something like that, and just show a little bit more than what we did. I realize we're coming off penalty loss to Dortmund in the Pokal, so players are tired. Burkhardt didn't start; he didn't come on until later, and so Wahi gets the start, and I know he's not exactly in the most favorable position among fans' opinions right now. And for fair reason, he still hasn't scored a goal for us, despite being a record signing at the time. And then, of course, we were also looking ahead to Tuesday's match against Napoli in the Champions League. So there were a number of reasons why that Heidenheim match could have gone the way it did, and it just kind of is what it is. It's very typical diva, you know, where we just drop points against, bottom of the table competition, and it's something we need to learn how to fix. It's something we need to get rid of in order to push on to become the Champions League side that we want to be. So after that 1-1 draw against Heidenheim, we now sit 8th in the Bundesliga. Obviously, Bayern is in first on 27 points, Leipzig second, 22, Dortmund in third on 20, Stuttgart in fourth on 18, Leverkusen in fifth on 17, Hoffenheim in sixth on 16, Köln in seventh on 14, and we're in eighth on 14 as well, although Köln has 1 goal on us in the goal difference. And then right now, Werder Bremen and Wolfsburg are playing in there because of the live table, the next 2 sides behind us. Werder Bremen on 12 points, Wolfsburg on 11 currently because they are up 1-0 in this match. So, 8th place, of course, is not where we want to be in the Bundesliga. We want to be pushing for top 4. That's kind of the expectation. And I realize that's a difficult goal. Obviously, the Bundesliga has a number of quality sides near the top. Only one is really flawless, though, so you never know where points can be had. And I think that getting back up into the top 4 is very much a possibility here. We're only 4 points out of it, and who knows with UEFA coefficients whether 5th place could be a Champions League spot or not, but you certainly do not want to bank on that. But I guess to a certain extent, we were able to somewhat help the coefficient on Tuesday facing Napoli in the Champions League. Of course, had to go to Naples to face them. The last time in the Champions League that didn't go our way very well, unfortunately. But this was a different story, thankfully. What was the same was, of course, the fan ban. No fans from Frankfurt or possibly even Germany, I believe, were allowed to buy tickets for that match. So no away fans once again for a Champions League match against Napoli. Although this time, from what I can gather, there was no violence the night before the match, or the day of the match. So that's a big improvement over the last time. So going to Naples, and we end up coming away with a 0-0 draw. And for sure, would have been nice to show a little bit more fight offensively to try and get a goal, but to come away with a clean sheet against the Serie A leaders right now can't be understated. It's a massive boost to our confidence. I think defensively we played a really good game. They had a lot of shots for sure, and so that's not necessarily ideal, but not a lot on target. And so I think that was really nice to see. I thought Teat and Koch both played fantastic at the back. Koch ended up getting man of the match as well. Zetterer was great in goal, made a few excellent punches, and then grabbed the ball right at the end there when Napoli could have won it pretty late. But Zetterer was on top of things to preserve that 0-0 draw. And then one other player who I think had a fantastic game was Nathaniel Brown. I know he's getting his praises everywhere on social media right now, and for good reason. He looked absolutely fantastic, and he's a player we need to continue looking fantastic. He's pretty much our only real option at, left back or left wing back kind of position. So, fantastic game from him. He, of course, is still young. He's not super young. I think he's 22. So getting to his prime, and as long as he can continue to show improvement like that, I'm very excited to see where he can take us in the future, or quite unfortunately, probably what he'll get sold for. But either way, sure looks like we've got a wonderful talent on our hands, showcasing his abilities once again. Um, so that's it for the match recaps here. 4 games, got 3 draws and one victory out of it. So not the best week possible, but certainly could have been much worse. So now I guess it's time for hashtag what are we drinking? And as always, I've got myself a Twee. I absolutely love Twisted Tea. It's ridiculous. They should pay me as a representative or something because I am always promoting this stuff. Delicious. But we'll move on and preview some matches in the upcoming week. There's only one more match day in the Bundesliga before the next international break for the men. So the men face Mainz on Saturday. That's 1:30 Eastern time. Mainz, of course, is a team who's struggling. They are currently in 17th place in the Bundesliga, which I think is not where people were expecting them to be. They're certainly not a fantastic team. And we did poach their best player last year, but they still made the Conference League and, are at least mid-table quality, I would think. But as is every year, there's one side playing European football whose league form suffers heavily from that. And this year it's certainly Mainz. Us to a certain degree as well, but certainly Mainz. That said, on Thursday or yesterday in the Conference League, they did end up coming away with a last-second winner against Fiorentina, who are another side who are a complete mess. So shouldn't be too much of a surprise that Mainz were able to get the home victory over Fiorentina in the Conference League, making it a perfect 3-for-3 for Mainz, 9 points. I believe they're technically second in the Conference League right now. So obviously they've played a game 2 days more recently than us heading into Sunday's matchup. I think that it's a good opportunity for us to come away with a victory here. It would be awesome to see Burkhardt get on the score sheet against his old club. Burkhardt, by the way, who was also named the Bundesliga Player of the Month for October. Massive congratulations to Yanni. He's been fantastic. I mean, we knew he would be a good player. He is an established Bundesliga striker, and all we can hope for is that he just stays healthy and continues to produce for us. And I believe he also got a call up to the German national side. So congratulations to Burkhardt for both of those things. And we hope it's only the beginning for his journey with us. So against Mainz, obviously 1:30 on a Sunday provides opportunities for watch parties around the country. In DC, I know we're hosting one at Ireland's Four Courts in Arlington. I know Tom has been promoting a watch party in Miami at Cuckoo Clock Brauhaus, Miami. So if you're in the South Florida, Miami-Dade area, go there. And then there's also a watch party just outside Madison, Wisconsin at Patty Mac's Pub and Grill. So, if you're in any of those areas, please come out to watch parties, hang out with Eintracht fans. The people across this US-based fandom are some of the best people you will ever meet, and it's always a good time to get out and watch your favorite football team with them. So yeah, highly encourage people to come out and go to one of the watch parties and hopefully watch us beat Mainz, although I know it's a team we've not always had the best history against. But that's okay. The biggest match for Eintracht this weekend, though, is tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The Frauen have to play against VfL Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg obviously have been the side we tried to wrestle second place from for the past couple of years and been unsuccessful at. This is going to be a tough matchup. They're a side who, despite losing a few of their really good players over this summer, in Eula Braun, Svankas Jonsdotter, they've still got a good squad. It's aging a little bit, and they don't quite have as much depth as they used to. New coach as well, but they seem to be settling in right now and are in a relatively comfortable second place. 3 points ahead of Leverkusen, as I mentioned earlier. and 6 points ahead of us. So this is a big opportunity to try and gain some points back on them. If we can come away with a victory, we'll only be 3 points behind Wolfsburg and trying to make a push for that top 3 and get back into Champions League position. Obviously, that's where we want to be, preferably second place, but it's going to be a battle. And, we really need to see some fight from the Frauen in this match. It's something we've not seen every game. And I hope that either Nico can inspire some hope in the players, or they realize that they have to come away with a result here. I think a defeat in this match wouldn't kill chances of top 3, of course, because there's always Leverkusen to battle against for third, or even Hoffenheim. I think that they've got a squad to do that as well. But it would really start shutting the door on a possible second place. And of course, that's where we want to be in order to not have to go through Champions League qualifiers again. But yeah, so that's a big match, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, Frauen against VfL Wolfsburg. And then the Frauen also have another game next week. It is not another midweek match day for the Frauen Bundesliga, but it is instead the first real knockout round for the UEFA Europa Cup, the new second-tier European competition for the women. Of course, previously we defeated Slovatsko in a 2-legged, qualifier. So we have our first leg in this first round against PSV Eindhoven. That is Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. PSV are currently 4th in the women's Eredivisie, but they're only 4th by 1 point. The 2 top teams, who are Twente and Ajax, I believe, both have 16 points. PSV is on 14. They've got 15 goals scored, 4 goals against, and 5 wins in 6 games. The women's Eredivisie is a very solid league. You can see Twente compete very hard in the Champions League often. So definitely a side to be somewhat afraid of. It's a beatable side for us, but certainly one to be afraid of. I'll be curious to see how the club approaches these Europa Cup matches and how we balance that out with the league. As far as I'm aware, the winner of the Europa Cup does not automatically qualify for the Champions League, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if we really put the focus into our Frauen Bundesliga matches and rotate a little bit for these Europa Cup matches. And I'd like to see that as well, because I want to see some of these players get opportunities. I want to see Romina Chiba actually get real minutes. She has always shown out fantastically when she's brought on as a late substitute, and she should be rewarded with regular minutes for that. And I think this is a good opportunity for that. Obviously, would like to see Haley Rasso get some minutes. She's been mostly relegated to late, substitution minutes overall. Yarna Tillings as well. So I think it's a good opportunity for some of these players that we've had or that we've brought in who just haven't been able to become Bundesliga regulars to get some minutes out there, show what they can do. And, these are quality players. We brought them in because they are at a level of, at least the Europa Cup. These are players that could play Champions League minutes. So definitely would like to see some rotation here, but not to an insane degree. Obviously, we still want to advance in this competition. It's still a trophy we should be fighting for. You want to go out every game that you have, every time you put on the Eintracht crest, you want to win. So, rotate, but take it seriously. If we are to get past PSV, then we would end up playing the winner of Enes Mura and Nordjylland. So there's an opportunity here for us to make the semifinals at least in this competition. And I think that should be the minimum goal for us, is at least a semifinal appearance. And quite frankly, I think really making a finals appearance for this. Just, show that we're competitive on a European level. And yeah, so we'll see where it goes. That's pretty much all I have for everyone today. I know, a shorter episode, but just doing this one by myself. Unfortunately, life gets in the way quite a bit, and we weren't able to record the past couple of nights. So, big ups to Eintracht Frankfurt. Hopefully, this week goes really well, Saturday, Sunday, and on Wednesday for the men and the women. And good luck to all of the players on our men's side who are called up to their national teams. Good luck in qualifying for the World Cup or just performing well in your friendlies. But yeah, I think that's all we have for you today. So thanks for tuning in.